Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadarti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvetam Savadutam Prijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantaya Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Paditanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Gita Upanishad, translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse says 11 here. What's today's verse, do you know?
31 to 33.
31 to 33. 3 verses. Okay. So look, because it's 3 verses, I'll do 1 line at a time and then you repeat. Okay, we go through the 3 verses like that. Please repeat. Pavana, I'll do the 1 line. Pavana Pavatam Asmi Rama Shastra Bitam Maham Jasanam Mukaraschasmi Shrotrasam Asmi Janavi Saganam Adi Anantascha Madhyam Chaivaham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vidha Pavadatam Maham Aksharam Akharosmi Dvandva Samasikhasya cha Aham eva shaya kalo Tataham Vishvato Mukha. Okay, go ahead.
Pavana Pavatam Asmi
Pavana Pavatam Asmi
Rama Shastra Britamaham
Shastra Britamaham
Dashanam Makaraschasmi
Sanam Makaraschasmi
Shrotasam Asmi Janavi
Shrotasam Asmi Janavi
Sarganam Adim Antascha Madhyam Shaivaham Arjuna
Madhyam Shaivam Arjuna
Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Vadaprabhatatam Aham
Vadaprabhatam Aham Aksharam Akarosmi Dvandva Samasikhasya cha Aham evaksharo kalo Dataham Vishvato Mukha.
asmi.
Pavatam asmi.
Rama Shastra Vritam Aham.
Rama Shastra Vritam Aham.
Jnanasam Makarashasmi.
Shasmi.
Shotasam Asmi Janavi.
Sotasam asmi janavi.
Sarganamadiyantascha
Sarvanamadiyantascha
Madhyam Chevaham Arjuna
Madhyam Chaivaham Arjuna
Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam
Vada Pravadatamam
Vada Pravadatamam
Akasharanam akarosmi.
Akasharanam akarosmi
Vrindavan ISKCON.
Vrindavan
Aham Elakshaya Kalo.
Aham Elakshaya Kalo
Dataham Vishvato Mukaha.
Tataham Vishvato Mukaha.
So, what's that? What's that sound? No, what's this whistling sound? Well, turn it off, please. Turn it off. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much. So, word for word, please repeat. Pavana, the wind. Pavatam, of all that purifies. Asmi, I am. Ramaha, Rama. Shastra Britam, of the carriers of weapons. Aham, I am. Jasanam, of all fish. Makara, the shark. Cha, also. Asmi, I am. Shrotasam, of flowing rivers. Asmi, I am. Janavi, the river Ganges. Translation Srila Prabhupada. Of purifiers I am the wind, of the wielders of weapons I am Ram, of fishes I am the shark, and of flowing rivers I am the Ganges. Please repeat. Of purifiers I am the wind.
Of purifiers I am the wind.
Of the wielders of weapons I am Ram. Of fishes I am the shark. And of flowing rivers I am the Ganges. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Of all the aquatics, the shark is the biggest and is certainly the most dangerous to man. Thus the shark represents Krishna. Okay, word for word 32. Please repeat. Saganam, of all creations. Adi, the beginning. Andha, end. Cha, and. Madhyam, middle. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Aham, I am. Arjuna, O Arjuna. Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge. Vidyanam, of all education. Vadaha, the natural conclusion. Pravadatam, of arguments. I am. Sorry, aham. I am. Translation Srila Prabhupada. Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Purport Srila Prabhupada. Among the you repeat. Of all creations, I am the beginning, and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. of all sciences.
of all sciences.
I am the spiritual science of the self.
I am the spiritual science of the self.
And among logicians,
Among
fine,
logicians,
I am the conclusive truth.
I am the conclusive truth.
Purport Srila Prabhupada. Among the created manifestations, the first is the creation of the total material elements. As explained before, the cosmic manifestation is created and conducted by Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Shiradakshay Vishnu. And then again it is annihilated by Lord Shiva. Brahma is a secondary creator. All these agents of creation, maintenance and annihilation are incarnations of the material qualities of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is the beginning, the middle, and the end of all creation. For advanced education, there are various kinds of books of knowledge, such as the 4 Vedas, their 6 supplements, the Vedanta Sutra, books of logic, books of religiosity, and the Puranas. So altogether, there are 14 divisions of books of education. Of these, the book which represents Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, in particular the Vedanta Sutra, represents Krishna. Among logicians, there are different kinds of arguments, supporting one's argument with evidence that also supports the opposing side is called jalpa. Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is called Vedanta, but the actual conclusion is called Vada. This conclusive truth is a representative of Krishna. So, word for word on text 33, please repeat. Aksharanam, of letters. Akara, the first letter. Asmi, I am. Danvata, the jewel. Samarsikasya, of compounds. Cha, and. Aham, I am. Cert eva, certainly. Akshaya, eternal. Kalaha, time. Data, the creator. Aham, I am. Vishvata, Mukha, Brahma. So, translation, Srila Prabhupada. Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the jewel compound. I am also inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma. Please repeat. Of letters, I am the letter A.
Of letters, I am the letter A.
And among compound words, I am the jewel compound.
I am the jewel compound.
I am also inexhaustible time.
I am also inexhaustible time.
And of creators, I am Brahma.
I am Brahma.
Purport Srila Prabhupada. Akara, the first letter of the Sanskrit alphabet, is the beginning of the Vedic literature. Without Akara, nothing can be sounded. Therefore, it is the beginning of sound. In Sanskrit, there are also many compound words, of which the jewel word, like Rama, Krishna, is called Dvandva. In this compound, the word Rama and Krishna have the same form, and therefore the compound is called jewel. Among all kinds of killers, time is the ultimate, because time kills everything. Time is the representative of Krishna, because in due course of time there will be a great fire and everything will be annihilated. Among the living entities who are creators, Brahma, who has 4 heads, is the chief. Therefore he is the representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, very interesting. This is the opulence of the Absolute. Huh? So, if we want to understand this section, the key is verse 19. I'll read it for you. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Hantate Kasayishyami Dvija hi atma vibhutaya Pradantandra Kuru Shrestha Nasti Atto Vittarasya Me. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So that is what Krishna said at the beginning of this section in response to Arjuna. You see the previous verse. O Janardhan, again please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you, for the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. So this is Arjuna in his ecstatic realization of Krishna's position as the cause of all causes, the source of everything. Krishna has explained that to Arjuna in the Chaturasloki, starting on verse number 8, going to number 11, where Krishna says, Aham sarvasya pravavo matak sarvam pravartate. So that is a key point. Janmadi ashyata. Right? In the Vedanta Sutra, Prabhupada mentioned the Vedanta Sutra there as being the highest of the scriptures, because it deals with knowledge of the self rather than just religiosity in the material world, how to be a pious man, how to do your material duties. That is okay. But that is the religion of the body, you can say. You have a body and you have relatives and you have duties in this material world. So okay, the Vedas gives a lot of advice. However, the real knowledge, the real accent and the real necessity of human life is not how to regulate the body, but rather how to liberate the self by bhakti, by devotion to the Supreme Lord, and get out of the cycle of birth and death. If you do your material duties very nicely, yes, you may go to Swargaloka and have a good time, but it is temporary. And you'll still return, Martya Loka Vishanti, you'll still go to the material world. So, the real knowledge is how to get eternal life. Huh? We all know, right? We're all mature, many mature people here. Everyone's mature. We all know that in life there are many troubles. So we don't want those troubles, and we always think, where is utopia? Where is that perfection? Where is that nice situation? Huh? But it is not in the material world. That is the important point. Because even if you win the lottery, you're still subject to birth, death, old age and disease. Adidevik, adibhotik, adiatmic misery. You're still in this bad situation. So the real knowledge that the Vedas and all the sages emphasize and want to transmit as the necessity of human life, thank you, ma'am, is spiritual knowledge. Because that will break this cycle of birth and death, which is very uncomfortable, right? It doesn't get any better. That is what we're thinking. I will make the perfect solution. No, there will be always. Anyway, that is why the Bhagavad Gita is spoken on the battlefield, is it not? Because as you become more mature, you realize that that life is a bit of a struggle. Even the material scientists say, right, the struggle for existence, right? And that is why we have evolved. But we're not going to evolve to perfection, and of course their theories are all bogus. But everyone can recognize that. Of course, children, they may play at home and think that everything is nice. I've got mother and father. But life is not a bowl of cherries. It is not a garland of roses. It is often full of weeds and problems. So the real problem of life is eternality, attaining eternality. So the Bhagavad Gita is the Vedanta Sutra in the Mahabharata. Just like the Vedas are compressed into the Vedanta Sutra, Veda Anta, the end of knowledge, the end of all the Vedic knowledge. Sutra means compressed form, very compressed, very precise. So the fifth Veda is the Mahabharata, especially made for Kali Yuga. It's full of stories. It's easy to assimilate the Vedic knowledge through the stories and the layout. Veda Vyasa is a complete Shaktivesh avatar of Krishna. So just like the Mahabharata is all the Vedas, and all the Vedas are compressed in the Vedanta Sutra, so out of all the Mahabharata, the compression of that knowledge is in the Bhagavad Gita. So, and the Bhagavad Gita is compressed into the Chatur Shloki, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. And that is exactly how the Vedanta Sutra starts to describe the Supreme Lord. If you remember, Atato Brahmadignas, that's the beginning. Now you're a human being, you inquire into Brahman. And then, what is Brahman? Janmadi Asyayata. That Brahman, that which is supreme, is that from which everything has emanated. First point. And we discussed that last week. That whenever you see somebody or a person, you say, where you come from, who made this painting, who built this building, who designed this motor car, is it from this company, is it from that company? You want to know the origin. It is natural. And then that your understanding flows from that. Oh, he's from this place, he's that family, he's that origin. So it is natural that people inquire. Just like even the atheistic, foolish scientists, they want to have an origin, right? They call it a Big Bang or whatever. They may be changing their theories, I don't know. They do that like they change clothes. But anyway, the idea is, what is the origin of the creation? They want to make an atheistic origin. But of course, the Vedas explain that it is the Supreme Person. So now, in these verses and this section, Arjuna realized that Krishna, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, is the cause of all causes, the source of everything. And in his ecstasy, he explained, oh, you're Janardhan, you're Bhuteshwar, you're the source of the demigods. Do you remember last week, you're Purushottam? Last week the verse, yes. Purushottama, you're the Supreme Person. Bhuta Bhavana, you're the source of everything. You're Bhuteshwar, you're the controller of everyone. Deva Deva, you're the source of all the demigods. And you are Jagat Pate, you are the father, the controller of the universe, the shelter of the universe. So Purushottam, that is the real point. What is the source? It is Purushottam. It is the Purush enjoyer, the person who is Uttama. Uttama. Ut means above and Tama. We explained this. Purushottam. So that cause of all causes is personal. This is the key revelation, the cause, the source, the explanation. Just like if somebody asks me, I'm in the temple, and they say, oh, where you come from? And I say, I come from an impersonal void. What will they think? They will think you're a nonsense. You came from your mother and your father. Huh? Or if I say I came from a Big Bang, they may say, don't talk about your parents like that. That's not very nice. But they may say, I came from the void. I came from nothing. The Big Bang came from the void, right? Right, there was nothing. How can nothing be? We explained this 100 times. Always remember this. They say, in the beginning there was nothing, but nothing never was, never will be, and never is. You cannot say there was nothing, because nothing means something that is not there. It's not there in the first place. So anyway, you come from the void, or you come from the impersonal field of energy, or you come from a person, right? We chant every day, Sunyavadi Nirvisesh, Prabhupada, defeating the voidist and the impersonalist. Because there's only three theories of what that causes. The first theory is Purushotam, Bhuta Bhavana. The personal source. Or the second idea is some kind of impersonal energy, like the Mayavadis. And then the third idea is there was a void. Of course, a void never was, so actually there is only existence. Try to understand this point. We think in material way, in dualistic way. There is existence, and the opposite of that is non-existence. But wait a minute, non-existence doesn't exist. It cannot be the opposite of anything, because it's not there. Don't turn nothing into something in your imagination. Nothing means non-existence, it's not there. So therefore, there is only existence. Try to understand that. When we're young, we may have lay on our back in the meadow and looked at the stars in the sky. And we think, the universe comes to an end. What is beyond the stars? We think it must be nothing. Right? But that nothing does not exist. You have to understand that there is only existence. Don't think in this dualistic way. Think in this Chincha Beda Bed. There is only existence. There is not a void. There is not a nothingness. So the Acharyas don't deal with this question when they're refuting voidism very much, because it's ridiculous. How can something that doesn't exist be the source of existence? It's ridiculous. It's not there in the first place. And then the impersonal idea, that is the cause. Now, you will find that these atheistic material scientists, they're being defeated on this nothing idea. What will happen is they will make into some kind of impersonal idea. They'll say, we don't come from nothing because, yes, Kesi Damana's right. Nothing doesn't exist. We agree with him. But we come from a quantum field. They'll say something like that, quantum physics. Or we come from a singularity where all matter was compressed and it had no space and time. All matter was in a spot that had no dimension. Oh yeah? Tell me another one. We have mathematics to prove it. Oh yeah, sure. So, anyway, so they will go to some kind of impersonal idea. But of course, how can something devoid of personality be the cause of all personality? So the Mayavadi comes forward at this point and he says, yes, there is personality, but it is illusion. This is called Vaivartavad. It means illusory transformation. But the Vedas actually teach Parinamavad, which is a transformation of energy. So the Mayavadi says, the personality that you all have, yes, it is illusion. It is non-existent. That is a particular definition of illusion, which is obviously faulty and completely unsatisfactory. Huh? How can you say these people are illusory, their personalities? Yes, their personalities are temporary, you can say. Like we find somebody has a personality and then they have a personality when they're older, that changes. But you cannot say it is non-existent just because you want to define illusion in that way. No, it is practical. If you go to the judge in the court and you say, don't throw me in the jail because my personality is an illusion. Why put an illusion in the jailhouse? They will say, well, no, I'm putting you in the jailhouse because you did the crime and you're a rascal. And while you're in the jail, you can think about if you're an illusion. Or if you're actually experiencing the jail. And the bad kitchery will be serving you for 2 years. So anyway, Parinamvad means transformation of energy. That Krishna is source of all energy, source of Chit Shakti, which is full of, we say Satchidananda Vigraha, 4 divisions, but we should understand that that's just 4 divisions, that eternality, consciousness, blissfulness, personality and form. Yes, Krishna is emanating this energy and it is non-different from himself. So this is the personalist idea. However, that Chit Shakti, which is full of variety, full of quality, transforms. And one transformation is the material energy. The other transformation is within the spiritual creation. So you have energy, the energy of Krishna, which is full of potent, which is not just like an impersonal energy. This is important, that just like the electrical energy in the plug and the socket, that is impersonal. It is just has one quality. It has a certain potency to drive your air conditioner, your scooter or whatever. So, but it has one aspect. But Krishna's energy is not just confined to one quality, it has unlimited quality. It has unlimited variety composed within itself. For example, just like light, white light, when you can use a prism and you will see, and a rainbow will display it, right? Many colors within the white light. So Krishna's energy is full of unlimited variety and quality and potency. This is very important. And he is Purushottam, and this is the absolute truth. He is a supreme person, Bhuteshwara. Bhuta Bhavana. Bhuta Bhavana means the source of all elements and personality. So they are transformations. They are aspects of his energy. So this definition of the absolute truth is not unsatisfactory. This definition of the absolute truth is very satisfying to somebody who's unbiased, right? Somebody who's not adopted the wrong conclusive truth. If you remember in the purport, Dvande, some persons, they want to enter a debate and they don't really care who's right or wrong. They care about winning the debate. You understand? Now that's a false. That is a false debate. Because if you're a debate, if you're a proper person, you will debate, yes, but to try and find the truth of the matter. Not just because it's a struggle of egotism, like a boxing match. Who will win? No, the aim of a proper debate, and that's why debate should only be between people of this mentality. A proper debate means how can we come to a conclusive truth, as Krishna says. So anyone that wants the conclusive truth must admit that out of voidism, impersonalism, and personalism, The only real satisfactory, logical, conclusive truth is that the absolute truth is full of variety and personality, because this is what we see manifest in the creation. What to speak of the material creation, what to speak of the spiritual creation, of which we have very little perception. So, even in this material lower creation, secondary creation, we see a range of all sorts of qualities, abilities, thoughts, ideas, personality. And this is all emanated from a source that must contain that. Just like a rich man, he creates a big estate, a big house, and a garage, and puts 10 motor cars in there. Why? Because he has that potency within his bank balance. If it is impersonal, how can he pay the builders? How can he, if his bank balance is a void, how can he create anything? Can he create, a big estate by the river with a helicopter pad? And then how did you do it? Well, my bank account has got nothing in it. It's all come out of the void. Obviously, this is a stupid idea. So it's also a stupid idea to say the absolute truth is impersonal. Because we see the quality of personality. Krishna is Purushottam. What were those things that we were studying last week? Bhuta Bhavana, Bhuteshwara, Deva Deva, Jagatpate. Very nicely put. Of course, it's Krishna and he's unlimitedly intelligent. So, this is the absolute truth. And Arjuna, he was ecstatic. You are that Supreme Lord, and you are the source of everything. Now I realize that. And Devala, Asita, Vyas, they have declared that. It is not just a logical conclusion, it is in the Vedic literature. And that's how we can understand, actually, that yes, we completely agree with logic and argument, but use your logic and argument and intelligence upon understanding the Vedic description. Because the Vedas are the breathing of the universal form. They are related to the creation, both material and spiritual. So you understand the Vedas and you will understand the creation. You understand the creation and you will understand the Vedas. They correspond. The Vedas are the manual, the guidebook, instruction book on the creation. That is also impersonalism, voidism, to think that we have to search for the truth by our intelligence and our experience. That means that there is a creation, but there's no creational manual. Just like you have an iPhone or some kind of telephone nowadays, you need an instruction book and 5 years study to use it properly. But so as soon as something is created, there is an instruction. You don't just get things being sold in the marketplace without instructions. If it's made by a person, then that person will give an instruction book. But if it's made by an impersonal or a void, why should that impersonal book or void make a book? So it is atheism to think that there is no instruction book, no correct book. And of course now in Kali Yuga there are many wrong instruction books, man-made books that are proposed through dogmatic systems, that these are the instruction books. But anyone that reads the Vedas will see and studies in Guru Parampara, the Vedic knowledge, will see that the Vedas and the creation correspond. that by studying the Vedas, by the Gita, for example, which is the summation of Vedic knowledge, you get great insight into the material creation. Just in the same way that you have your telephone, and by studying the manual, you get insight into the operation of the telephone. Now, if you want to spend your time trying to work this telephone with all the functions, you can throw away the manual if you like, and you can use logic and argument, but you're going to have a very big job. If you've got the manual, you can learn very quickly. It only take 5 years. But if you try to use that phone without a manual, without a guru parampara, without a teacher, it may take you 100 years just to turn it on. Well, maybe that's exaggerating. So yes, you can gain some knowledge by studying without a manual, but why? Why not get the manual? There is a manual, and that is the Vedas. Vedas means knowledge, and means knowledge about the material and spiritual creation. What your material duties are, what your spiritual duties are, what the material creation is, what the spiritual creation is, everything described nicely. So use your logic and argument, your intelligence, your empirical idea, your investigative nature in studying the Vedas, and use your brain to see the creation through the Vedas and see how they are corresponding. And that is why for thousands of years, even in Kali Yuga, Vedavyas, he wrote the Vedas at the beginning of, wrote them down previously, they were remembered. At the beginning of Kali Yuga, and so even thousands of years later, we are still studying Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. And we're still seeing insight into the creation. Why? Because this is the actual manual. We don't change it every week. We don't make a new theory, a big bang or a big bounce or a big trouble, whatever, or a big oscillation. Anyway, there was a big something. Actually, the Vedas say, and Prabhupada mentioned in one purport there, that actually the material creation which comes into flux, and this is the actual opposite of existence. The opposite of existence is not non-existence, that's off the table. The opposite of eternality is temporary condition. Eternality means not subject to time, and like Krishna says, of destroyers I am time. The opposite of eternality is flux, change. Just like this table. Now, it's a table, but in the future, somehow or other, it will be burnt, or it will turn into dust, or the demuck will eat it, whatever. It will be thrown out, maybe it will be sold in the market. Anyway, and then it will change into something else. So this is a temporary object. That is the opposite of eternality. Eternality, like the soul, we are all eternal souls, you are all eternal, that will not change. That is not subject to transformation. And of course you all know that. We're now in our mature, intelligent years, at least some of us. Anyway, but we know I'm the same person that I was when I was playing on the lap of my mother. We have the same sense of self. That is the echo or the emanation which accompanies consciousness from the soul. That is eternality. And that will remain as your personal identity through eternal time. However, it will develop through spiritual consciousness. You will develop your bhava in relationship to Krishna. When your sadhana bears fruit, you will develop your spiritual svarup. And that is there, that is eternal. So, this flux, we know, is not a big oscillation or a big bang, it is a big glance. Right? Mahavishnu glances at the personified material energy, and then the material elements and the Mahatattva, all that becomes manifest. So it is the glance of Mahavishnu, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport there, Karana Dakshai Vishnu, within the Pradhan, which is the transformation of the Chit Shakti with Tamas. We discussed this many times. Everybody remembers, of course. So, the Pradhan is the basic substance of matter. So even that is full of variety and full of potency. Bhuta Bhavana means the source of all elements. So Krishna is the source of the material, the spiritual, and the Jiva Shakti. This is the division given in the Vishnu Puran. Like we say, Krishna has unlimited variety within his energies, but it is divided into internal energy, external energy, spiritual energy and material energy, and then the Jiva Shakti. So these are all eternal actually. The Pradhan, basic substance of matter, is eternal. Chit Shakti, spiritual world, is eternal. And the spirit and the Jiva is eternal. But the material energy is in flux. It changes within the sphere of material time. And the time that we experience, past, present and future, in this life, in this situation, in this body, in this creation, that is illusory, ultimately. You can begin to understand that if you do one simple thing. If you consider and contemplate that actually, though you have conceptions of the past and you have plans for the future, you only experience one time, and that is now. Right? So we're always living in now, though we're maybe remembering it, planning for the future. But all our experience has been experienced within the moment of now. We live in now. So these concepts can be then seen as superfluous to the fact of our existence. And if we contemplate in that way, then we can focus on existence beyond the time factor. Because that is also another material mistake. People think that eternality must mean a long time, going into the past, into the future, endlessly. But no, eternality means to be free of the time factor. So that means we have to focus on a different quality of energy. Beyond the material illusion, we have to focus on eternality. So that is the point that is being discussed here. You, Krishna, are Purushottam. Arjuna has realized that, and in ecstasy he has praised the Supreme Lord. Now this also, we discussed this, but we'll repeat in Pan. So when you realize the Supreme Lord, you will realize in ecstasy. Just like Narada Muni at the beginning of the Bhagavatam. He was doing his meditation, and then one time actually Krishna responded and personally appeared. So he was ecstatic. Dhruva Maharaj, he was ecstatic. Prahlad Maharaj was ecstatic when he saw Nrsimhadev. So the Supreme Lord is realized by ecstasy. Yes, logic and argument is good. To apply it to the Vedas and to see reality and so on, to understand Tattva. But to understand Krishna, Rasa Tattva, beyond the logic and argument of the material world, the conclusive truth is realized through spiritual ecstasy. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya said, the Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. It means that Harinam Sankirtan is the life of transcendental knowledge. So you can think of transcendental knowledge as a body, just like we have a body. What is the life of that body? Is the soul. What is the soul of the Vedic knowledge? What is the ecstasy? Of course, the material body, we're just using this as an example. The spiritual knowledge is spiritual. But the life of the transcendental knowledge is Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we chant Hare Krishna and we go to Kirtan and we become absorbed in the ecstasy of the chanting. And this gives life to our transcendental knowledge. We don't want to just become book people, but we want to see the book through transcendental knowledge. Just like Arjuna, through transcendental ecstasy. Just like Arjuna, when Krishna said, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, then Arjuna had full realization of Krishna's supreme position and in ecstasy. So we want to realize the Bhagavad Gita through ecstasy. You understand? We don't want to be just jnanis looking at the grammar, the sloka, the logic and the art. That's okay. That's a beginning platform. But ultimately, the gopis, they're chastising Krishna. Mother Yashoda is binding Krishna. You're stealing butter. Does that mean they're not in realization of the absolute truth? No. All this affairs, this leela that we read in the Bhagavatam, is performed within the sphere of ecstasy. And by this ecstatic interchange with Krishna, they are realizing Krishna beyond logic and argument. So the conclusive truth is good. And understanding tattva is good. But through Harinam Sankirtan and the grace of Krishna and the grace of Guru, we realize Krishna through ecstasy. So therefore you have Vaidhi Bhakti, you have Raganuga Bhakti, then you have Bhava Bhakti. At Bhava Bhakti, that's when Swarup manifests, the realization of Krishna becomes direct and personal. And then that condenses into Prem Bhakti. So this is what Lord Chaitanya has come to give. He's come to give ecstatic realization of the Supreme Lord. And this is Arjuna's position here. Oh, you are Purushottam, you are Bhuta Bhavana, you are Deva Deva, you are Jagat Pate, you are the cause of all causes. And now then, like we say, verse 19, Arjuna said, oh, please tell me how I can see you in this material world. So this is a very important point, is it not? For us sadhakas, at least myself, we want to see Krishna. And Prabhupada, I remember listening lectures, Prabhupada said, people say they want to see God. Here is God. See Him as His splendorous manifestations. Krishna says, I have unlimited manifestations, but now I will tell you of the splendorous ones. Because actually everything is a manifestation of Krishna. Because everything is the energy of Krishna, Parinamavad. It is a transformation. So really, atheism and theism is a matter of attitude. The atheist looks at everything and thinks it's come from a big bang, or whatever their latest theory is. But the theist looks at everything and thinks it's all come from the Supreme Lord. Isn't it wonderful? So, that is the vision that Arjuna and Krishna and the Acharyas are teaching us to develop in our sadhana, to see everything in the relationship to Krishna. And this is the actual truth. This is the actual thing. Just like devotees say, oh, Krishna's mercy. Actually, the fact is that everything is Krishna's mercy, because it's all the energy. Energy and mercy are same word in Sanskrit, very related. So here, Arjuna, Krishna is giving this big long list of the opulences of himself. And as devotees, we study this and we see these things in relationship to Krishna, as manifestations of Krishna. But at the same time we know that Krishna is the source of everything. So everything is a manifestation of Krishna. However, Arjuna, he said, asked Krishna, how shall I think of you? So the devotee, though everything, even the hellish planets, ultimately is Krishna's energy, Arjuna is asking, how shall I? In what way? He's not saying, shall I just see you in everything? But rather, give me those splendorous, magnificent manifestations of goodness and quality and ability, vibhuti, power and shakti. And that should be the meditation that we relate to Krishna. Because we're in the period of sadhana. Therefore, if we think, oh, Krishna's energy is transformed as the hellish planets, so then let me meditate on the hellish planets. That is not the advised sadhana. I'm meditating on Krishna as the hellish planets. No. Krishna, the devotees, they want to meditate on Krishna in the material energy as the opulences of the material energy. Right? Of course, the great sages, they can look at the heavenly planets and see that as the mercy of Krishna, as the emanation of Krishna. But for the sadhakas, we are advised to meditate on certain aspects of Krishna because they elevate our consciousness from the depression and confusion of the material energy. So today's shlokas, of purifiers I am the wind. So you see, all these things we should contemplate. I am purifiers of the wind. I'm sure you have your own ideas. There are many purifiers, right? But it's very interesting that Krishna says the wind is the purifier. So what do great sages do? Yes, Prabhupada has explained that, but he doesn't say in the purport. So you can understand, you can think about how is the wind the greatest purifier? Well, of course we know when there's a good wind, there's fresh air. Especially now in Kali Yuga, we've made these hellish, huge cities where 12 million people suffer with car fumes and electromagnetic fog everywhere. So when there's a good wind, it's pure, we feel good. If you live by the sea and there's an early morning breeze, you feel recharged. Right? Purifiers, wielders of weapon, I am Ram, of course. That is Krishna's Manusha Leela. It's very interesting. He doesn't choose Parashuram. He was chastising people. But Ram is Krishna's Manusha Leela. He's the perfect human being, full of duty. So he wields weapons. Yes, Ram. Of fishes I am the shark. Yes, fishes. Prabhupada in the purport, of all aquatics, the shark is the biggest and is certainly the most dangerous. So somebody said, well, wait a minute. What about the whale? What about the dolphin? Or the killer whale? They're called ochres or okras or something like that. Right? They're bigger than the shark. But, you see, in the purport, in the Sanskrit, of fishes I am the shark. The whale is not a fish, it's a mammal, right? It breathes air. The dolphin is not a fish. Even in material science, it is a mammal because they must drink air. But actually, in passing, I remember once, because I was investigating a year back, they say that there was a hyena-like animal that jumped in the water for a long time and became the sperm whale, it's like 20 tons or something, the blue whale. This is completely ridiculous. If you have a 5-year-old child and you say, you see these huge whales you're seeing on the television? Well, they all came from a hyena that looked like a hyena and kept jumping in the water. And its legs developed into fins, and its tail became a dorsal fin. And your child will say, yeah, you should be on telly, Daddy, as a comedian. Anyway, these things are being taught. All glories to the illusory potency. So of fishes I am the shark. So the shark is especially the great white shark. It's not great if you meet them, but you don't think they're great if they're hungry. But they're certainly the most dangerous to man. That's interesting, that, isn't it? Because even killer whales, so-called killer whale, they don't attack humans apparently. You can swim with them, and nor do whales. But the shark does attack humans. So it's the dolphins also. There's many stories about dolphins helping people. You're an old shipman. They help people who've even drowning in water. And there's even, when they had that huge tsunami, the dolphins gave warnings in some way to the fishermen because they have these amazing senses. So the shark, however, they weren't warning people. They were thinking, oh good, now lunch is coming in abundance. Of flowing rivers I am the Ganges, of course. So of course we all know Ganges flows right through the universe. Of all creations I am the beginning and the end, and also the middle, O Arjuna. Do you remember how Prabhupada explained that? I'm the beginning, I'm Brahma, and I'm the maintainer as Vishnu, and I'm the end, I'm Lord Shiva. So that's interesting. I'm the beginning and the end, and also the middle. So yes, the beginning, Lord Brahma begins the universe in a secondary manner, and Lord Shiva winds it up. So they are my aspects, they are my Shaktivesh, they are my transformations. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self, right? The science of the soul. That's Prabhupada often says, I was listening, because I listen to Prabhupada's lectures every day, and I encourage you also to get a set. So I'm always listening, and Prabhupada was explaining in one of the conversations, and he was explaining to some educated scientific type people who were visiting, he said, where is the science of the self in the university? Okay, have your physics, have your chemistry, biology, whatever, but where's the science of the soul? You see, the big mistake in the modern society is that they have pushed everything mystical or spiritual to one side, and they say that only the matter, science and study should be matter. And with this tunnel vision, they have lost their perception of spirit and Krishna and the reality. They're searching for the conclusive truth in matter. But actually we know it, actually the supreme conclusive truth is within spirit. It is Krishna. So this is a misdirected society. So Prabhupada is saying, where is the science of the soul? So we can hope one day, by Krishna's grace, by Guru's grace, that universities, they will have their science department, their nautical department, their aeroplane department, whatever. But each university should have a science of the soul, where they're explaining the soul has this quality, it's not the material body, it's related. Don't be a voidist, don't be an impersonalist, these are the arguments against this. That should be in the university. And then they can have another section for building bridges and whatever. There's nothing wrong with building a bridge. But what about the science of the soul?
They cannot find reality in the soul.
Well, they need the Shastra, and they need people in Guru Parampara. You see, that is the science of self-discovery. Find the soul. Like I'm indicating, if we want to find the soul, we can think, I've experienced everything within myself, beyond material time. So these are the contemplations for spiritual science, to tune the consciousness to something beyond the flux of the material energy. So, and of logicians, I am the conclusive truth. We already discussed this, that actually the conclusion should be sought, not just victory in a debate. In the conclusion, yes, it's called here, but the actual conclusion is vada, not jalpa, just arguing, right? Merely trying to defeat one's opponent is vidanta. So that is useless. Often you find that, egotism. People just want to win an argument because they don't want to feel I'm the loser, I'm the winner. And they use all sorts of logical tricks and so on and so forth to win. So, of letters I am the letter A. The first letter of the Sanskrit, yes, A, I, O. So of course, you're all familiar with that, having studied Devanagari in school, right? So I studied also, and of course, each letter is attached to A. And also in Sanskrit they say I, A and I. These are the basic sounds around which are developed into the consonants. Among compound words, I am the dual compound. Rama, Krishna, Radha. I am inexhaustible time. Yes. So that is a reference to spiritual time, because material time, that plays within the material creation, but there is the real sense of time, and that is eternality. And that is inexhaustible. We run out of time, we have to be on time, we have to run according to a schedule. But actually in the spiritual world, the creation, just like the soul, is inexhaustible. And of creators I am Brahma, so he's created this material creation. So that's today's. So those ideas that are given here, these are all the opulence, splendorous, as Arjuna requested. Please tell me those wonderful things by which I can meditate upon you. So this is very good, and it's leading up to the 11th chapter where Krishna manifests the universal form. So these are the beautiful and opulent aspects of the material creation. And it is the way to see Krishna in the material world. So we'll finish on that point. Any questions at this point? So the point is that you can contemplate these. When you have time at home, get out this section, and just like we have been doing our fishes, I am the shark, you can think about them and see them in relation to Krishna. And that is bhajan, that is worship, that is sadhana, to think in this way.
For actual confusion, I read Madhav. It stands for Advaitavad, Dvaitavad, Advaitavad, like this.
Yeah, that's interesting, yes. That word Vada. Yeah, Mayavad. So Vad means concepts, Mayavad, a word which contains the concept, conclusion, Siddhanta.
Vad may mean that a logical point where all can agree. Vivad means people are arguing. Vada means that we come to a conclusion and we can agree at
A common agreement. Vada.
It may be like that.
Yes. It would be nice to look up that word in a Sanskrit dictionary, or do a search in the folio, Vad, yes. Mayavad, different other Vads. Huh? Yes, different. So Vad means
Vad means a
central concept.
comprehensive agreement on Saturday.
Yes. So the Mayavadis, they are concluding that
In their own way.
in their own way that everything is illusion and it comes from an impersonal source or something. So that's their Vad. So yes, the Vad means like, that's a good contribution that you've given, is like the central core of the idea from which everything is related. So Vad. Yeah, Mayavad. The conclusion that everything is illusion. Right? Parinamavad. Yes, this is also Parinamavad. Vaivarta Vad. Illusory transformation. Parinamavad means transformation of energy. So Vad means concept, central concept.
And the other word, Vitonda, that means a counter argument.
Sorry?
A counter argument.
Yeah, what's the word there? Dvandva?
Before Bhagavad there is a word Vitanda, Bhag Vitanda.
Yeah, Vidanda. That's the opposing argument, yes.
Counter argument.
Yes. Well, actually, it's very interesting. If you study Vedanta Sutra, Baladevi Vibhushan, first he gives an idea, then the opposing idea, then the Siddhanta, and then the support for the Siddhanta, and then he moves on. It's called dialectics. It's a way of debating that you propose something, then the opposite is proposed, or some opposing argument, not necessarily opposite, and then from that discussion comes a conclusion, and then that conclusion must be supported, and then that leads to another question. So it's very interesting. So, but the point is to come to the Vad, right? To understand the central conclusion more deeply. So that is the real discussion point, not who's the best arguer. Yeah.
Where can we get the original commentary of Sri Baladev Vidyabhushan for reading?
Well, I've heard that Banu Swami is translating. He's one sannyasi, very learned in Sanskrit, stays in South India. So I heard he's working on it. But I have different copies. I have one copy, it's quite good actually, bought it years ago, Calcutta, Baladev's commentary, Vedanta Sutra, by Basu Chandra. I don't know if it's still in print. It's a big book. It's really interesting. It's full of the quotes from Upanishads. And then I have Bibliotheca Indica. Those books are 100 years old. They were done by the British scholars, and they have commentary by Srinivas, Ramanuja, and Nimbarka commentaries. Also the Gaudiya Math, one Swami years back, I have his copy of Vedanta Sutra. He brought it out, but the English is very poor. You can't comprehend the English. So there are those copies that I know of. The Bibliotheca Indica is not available. This was a scholarly production a long back. But the best one, if you want to get now, if you're in a hurry, is that Basu Chandra Bhosh. It's printed, Bhosh, Basu, B-A-S-U, Chandra Bhosh. You might be able to get it online, on computer. Somebody.
What is the full name of the book?
Vedanta Sutra, I think, with commentary of Baladev Vibhushan. Because we follow Baladev's conclusion. Also, we follow all Vaishnavas, Ramanuja and all that. But the special thing about Mahaprabhu is he took the he took 2 elements from each sampradaya and gave the perfection of the Vard. But they are all teaching the Vard, right? They are all teaching the final conclusion. So Baladev Vidyabhushan's is wonderful. So that's in our sampradaya. Okay, we'll finish at this point, 7 o'clock.